There are three things about mental health that I wish I learned in high school. The first is the importance of self care when you're facing burnout. We will all face burnout in our lives where we're so focused on something and get so stressed that we feel that we're going in circles. And the importance of self care is for us to take a break, like to step away, relax, refresh ourselves, and hopefully gain a fresh perspective on the problem of what we're doing and figure out new ways to go about it. The second thing I wish I had learned about mental health in high school is by far one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn about my own mental health, and probably one of the hardest things I've heard from a lot of people that we ever have to do in dealing with mental health. And that is to cut the negative people from our lives. These can be friends, they can be mentors, or teachers, and they can be family. And it's never easy. And it's very hard. But if you cut the negativity out of your life, there's so much more of a benefit after. The third and final thing that I'm going to address you guys, being a man, talking about mental health, and knowing how few men actually seek help for mental health is terrifying. I was raised in a culture, and I'm sure most of you guys can agree, where we're told not to show our emotions. We're supposed to be tough, stoic, and macho. And that's not healthy. We bottle our emotions. We don't talk about problems. And when those bottle up, they can be very dangerous. And the breakdown can be very scary. If anything, feel safe to talk about your emotions. Seek help. It's not weakness, it's strength. Because you care enough to be able to take care of yourself, health, and to be open enough to let somebody else know what's going on. Thank you. Statistically, 1 in 5 Canadians will suffer a mental health issue in their lifetime. Suicide is the number one killer of youth under the age of 35. So let's put that a bit in perspective. There's say about 400 people in this room? So it's 1 in 5. That's 80 people. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it? It's a small number. It's 20%. But let's break that down a little bit more. Of those 80 people, 60 of them, 75%, will not seek treatment or help. Now, the other 20 will go seek help, and hopefully they will get adequate help and be able to recover. This is PEI, and sometimes adequate help isn't available or accessible, and some of those 20 will join the 60. Now, we're still talking 60 out of 400 people, and that's still not a big number when you think about it. However, these people are going untreated for mental problems. They have no support network, they have no way of opening up, and that can turn bad. And this could lead to them harming themselves or harming others. And one of the key things to remember is we all have mental health and we should all be aware of it. But we should also be aware of each other's mental health. So if you see a friend or someone you know struggling or having a difficult time and you think they might be having mental health issues, to be there, be the encouragement and support for them, and move forward. We are all in this together. We all have mental health, and every so often we all will all need support. Let's talk about some causes of mental distress in culture. Sure, some of the major factors of mental distress come from racism, some Islamophobia, bi, homo, and transphobia, gender discrimination, and ableism. For those of you who don't know what ableism is the belief that someone with a disability is only using the crutch as a crutch, and they can function as a normal person. So I myself, needing a cane to help me walk, experience this on a regular basis of people just saying, oh, well, you're doing it for fashion. And nobody who needs assistive technology of any form should have to endure that. It's unbelievably mentally aggravating that you literally are treated like, yeah, you're just being lazy or you're just doing it to make a statement. And it's not attention, it's requirements. Now, I'd like to turn towards homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, which aren't phobias, they're prejudices. Phobias are fears caused by mental health. And gender discrimination. 2/3 of the LGBTQ2 youth, I think I got all the letters in that acronym, experience stating that they feel unsafe at school or work. In a 2015 study, 2/3 of trans youth admitted to some form of self-harm, and 1/3 admitted to at least attempting suicide. These are scary numbers to think about. To bring in the racism component, Aboriginal youth are 5 to 6 times more likely to develop a mental health issue than anyone else in Canada. So these are some scary numbers and scary statistics, but they are all prevented by being an accepting person and being open to people who are different than you. Because let's face it, if everyone's a carbon copy of you, you're not unique. Celebrate differences and include people is something so simple and so easy that it could literally change a generation. Thank you. Let's talk a bit about the words that we use when talking to someone who is suffering from mental health problems. A lot of times people tend to hear terms like, stop being sad, just calm down, I've been through worse. It'd be so easy and you'd feel so much better if you just went out for a walk or something. All of these are terrible, terrible, terrible things to say. But we all say them. So let's propose a few alternatives. Instead of saying, stop being sad, ask them what's bothering them and what's going on. It gives you a connection. It's not you ordering them. It's reaching out for understanding. I've been through worse. It's not that bad. It can be easily replaced with, I've gone through a few things that are similar. Why don't we talk about it and maybe I can help you? You're offering help from your experience. But you're not saying it's exactly the same or worse. Just calm down is a very, very common one used in anxiety. And it's terrible. For anyone who's ever suffered an anxiety attack, you know that that is just the worst thing you don't want to hear, and it doesn't help. Personally, this is the advice I wish everybody knew when dealing with someone with anxiety, is using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. 5 things that they can see, 4 things they can hear, 3 things they can touch, 2 things they can smell, and something they can taste. My normal recommendation is chocolate. That it helps ground them back into the world and slowly calms them down and separates them from the problem. And finally, because this is my ultimate pet peeve, when it comes to talking about mental health, well, when we suggest something that will help, especially to someone who has depression, don't suggest, offer to go with. Be the person. Because if they feel alone and isolated, the last thing they want to do is do something where they're alone and isolated. If you give them, listen, the walk is important, but the friendship and the person to talk to can be infinitely more important. And talking to someone and offering help in mental health is not hard. We just have to know how to say it right. Thank you. So far, we've talked about signs, statistics, and how to talk to someone about mental health. But now, let's talk about resources that are available. Well, the first important resource to know about is Kids Help Phone. They offer both on the phone and online mental health services for youth up to the age of 20. It is completely confidential and free across Canada. Another Canadian-wide resource is eMental Health, which is a complete database that can help you locate specific mental health services by region. The next place is locally through PEI, with the PEI Helping Tree, which offers a variety of mental health services, along with access to the PEI Helpline, which is a free 24/7 line that you can call and ask for assistance. If you're unsure, they can provide you with the information and help guide you. And then, finally, guys, I've said it before, it's really, really hard for us in society to show our feelings and not be viewed as weak. And that's a stigma that has to die. But if you need someone to talk to, there is Bro Talk, which is a phone and online service similar to Kids Help Phone for young men age 14 to 18 for you to safely and openly talk about your mental health. These resources can be here for those of us that actively seek help. The 1 in 4 out of the 1 in 5. However, they also offer help for those of us that are worried about the other 3 of those 4 that aren't seeking help and can give us insight on how to help them. Only 1 in 5 people may suffer a mental health issue, but we all have mental health. And we all need to know how to take care of it. Thank you very much.